Hey, we back. I'm here on OwO today where we've got a new update. Technically this came out yesterday, but it's still certainly new and it adds a bunch of stuff. It's actually a pretty big update, so I'm a fan. Firstly, we have weapon wear, which is the first, as far as I'm aware, global change to weapons that there has been since they were added to the bot back in February 2019. So this is kind of major. That being said, it doesn't actually change that much, but I think it's really cool. So we have weapon wear, which basically just adds a little bit extra quality onto the weapon. However, these wear values go down when you re-roll them. So this basically is a way to have a little bit extra quality on a weapon if you didn't re-roll it, which I think is really cool because, of course, all the best weapons are the ones that you get by re-rolling. If you're not sure about re-rolling weapons, feel free to check out one of my videos on weapons, but it basically lets you change the stats. And if you want to get the best weapon you kind of have to re-roll it. However, of course, there is the chance that you get the best weapon you can without having to re-roll it, and you are extra lucky and cool and great. And the way that wear works is that if you haven't already re-rolled the weapon and it gets one of these modifiers, it just has more quality. As it says, this means you can actually have an 105% fabled weapon, which is, you know, that's pretty good, pretty nice. The weapons are the cap on weapons has gone up basically, and so getting fabled weapons before was almost impossible, whereas now it's a little more doable, which is really cool, but it means that you have to get lucky and get it first try out of your weapon crates. So getting weapon crates is now more important than ever as well, because rather than getting one good weapon off the shop and then re-rolling it a bunch, you now actually need to be opening your weapon crates and trying to get yourself some good weapons right off the bat, because every time you re-roll it, even if it gets one of these effects, it goes down. So let's see where it says this. Where was it? Every time you make a reroll change, that's going to be by passive or stat, the wear of the weapon will degrade by 1 state. So if you reroll a pristine shield, it will become a fine shield. And it will go from 5% extra quality to 3% extra quality. Of course, any percent extra quality is a buff. This is just straight up a buff. But realistically, people are re-rolling weapons a lot more than 4 times. And even if you get a pristine weapon, 1, 2, 3, it's only 3 actually. Only 3 times you re-roll it and it's suddenly no benefit at all. It means you kind of can't re-roll weapons. I mean, you totally can, and in general, people still will be. But if you want the best possible weapon, you need to be not doing that, which is really cool. Notably, any weapon that's crafted before the update has no benefit. It will count as unknown, which is still pretty cool because it means that people will know how old a weapon is. Now, of course, at the moment, most weapons are of unknown wear because they're all from before the update. But give it a couple years, you'll find all these new players don't even know how you get unknown weapon wear because it's not possible anymore. So it's another one of those legacy things that we love about OwO. Make sure to keep yourself 1 or 2 unknown weapons. If you're a newbie and you don't have many weapons, do keep one of the unknown ones just as a little legacy thing, which is going to be kind of cool. So that's that. I really like this. Like I say, a global update to weapons is really cool, and it is definitely a buff, which is also cool. We also have takedown trackers, a 10% chance to come with a takedown tracker, which Scoot compares to CSGO's stat tracker, which I'm sure is very useful if you've ever played CSGO. But basically, every time a weapon equipped with this kills an opponent, it will receive +1 to its takedown tracker. This is purely for aesthetics, but there is a leaderboard for it. So we have here leaderboards for displaying the most kills that a certain weapon has. They will only be shown if they have the takedown tracker. So that's really cool. I like that. New leaderboards are great. We'll check that out in a second, see who's top of the leaderboard at the moment. We'll try re-rolling some weapons as well, rolling some weapons rather in the first place out of weapon crates, see if we can get ourselves some takedown trackers and some wares. We'll check it all out in a second. We also have weapon favoriting, which is great. There is a favorite button so that favorited weapons cannot be sold and dismantled. This is a helpful feature because there is the dismantle all command, or rather dismantle by a certain rarity, And if you are regularly using that command, you're not going to want to be dismantling the weapons that you actually use. And so in the past, that would always be done by equipping the weapon with an animal, which, to be fair, is still probably the easiest way to do that, or rather just as easy. But you can now favorite the weapon instead, so that's cool. There's also weapon leaderboards for each ID of weapon, so there you go. Leaderboard for heal staffs with the highest kills, that's kind of funny. Glacial axes with the highest kills, less funny. We also just have a new weapon. This is not quite as cool as the other stuff because it's a new weapon. We've had these before, but still I'm very happy with it. Any OwO update is a good update. So new weapon, the foul fish, which also adds a new status effect, Stinky, which I think is kind of good. Prevents any future buffs and debuffs applied to this animal. On success, also deals extra damage. In general, this is a strength weapon, which is kind of cool. The extra magic damage is also cool, but I think realistically it's not going to be helping as much. You could argue that this is monkey weapon because it's got strength and magic, but in general I would say the strength is probably what matters here. That being said, preventing future buffs and debuffs is kind of good because you just use it on a team that doesn't apply debuffs, and then you're just getting rid of buffs. Getting rid of buffs is excellent because most teams that you come across will use buffs such as Spirit Staff. So getting rid of buffs is great. To be fair, it's not the first thing to do something like that, but all in all, this is a pretty good debuff. I would say this weapon is probably quite good. Has a high weapon cost though. So we'll see what happens. We can talk about the meta another time when it's evolved a little bit later. Notably, the streaks are currently frozen for a couple of weeks so people can test stuff out. So people can be trying out these new weapon, and I will update you in the future with what people think of it, basically. If I hear stuff, if you've got an opinion on the new weapon, feel free to let me know, and I can discuss it. We also have a new passive, which is Knowledge. This doesn't do anything in battle, however, it adds extra XP. This is really nice. I think everyone should try and get themselves a Knowledge weapon, because if you're trying to level up a new animal, then the weapon that it has doesn't really matter too much. It's probably a lower level, and you're just having it be carried by your higher level animals, because if you didn't know, if you have one high level animal and one low level animal, the low level animal gets a big XP bonus based on the level disparity there, which is really cool. But that's not new. What's new is the Knowledge passive, and so if you have a Knowledge weapon, you can give it to that low leveled animal so they get even more XP and they can catch up even faster. This obviously isn't going to help much with streaks and such, but at the end of the day this is a passive. It's not a weapon in of itself, so you can still have a good team as well, just a good team with good weapons, and shove the Knowledge passive on there to get some extra XP. If you put it on your highest leveled animal, of course your cap of levels will be going up faster. You might not get as much streaks, but if your team's OP, you'll be getting streaks anyway. And of course, most of the time, people get streaks just by having weapons that make sense because people don't know how to play them up. So, all good. There's also an issue that they fixed where double sacrifice or double kamikaze wouldn't trigger on orb, which is funny. But anyway, let's go check out this new weapon stuff. So firstly, if I check my weapons, we have some little arrows here, which is cool. I guess that's to show that the weapon is equipped. I also have all of these random runes of celebration, which is funny. I don't know why I've got all of those, but sure. If we have a look at a weapon in particular, we get ourselves our favorite button, so that's great. That'll stop that being dismantled. Of course, the fact that it's equipped also stop it being dismantled, but we can now favorite the weapon. So I can take, say, a weapon that I actually use. We could favorite this, and let's see what the icon looks like, shall we? We press the favorite button. We've now got unfavorite, and if I check my weapon list again, we've got a little star next to it. So there you go. That says that the weapon is favorited. Like I say, if it's equipped, it won't be able to dismantle anyway, so this doesn't change too much, but it's still nice. And now you don't have to equip all of your weapons to animals, so that's great. We also have the where, which, as you can see, is unknown on these weapons. Like I say, that's going to be most of the weapons that exist in the bot right now, but give it a couple of years and unknown weapons will be a bit more of a rarity. Okay, so let's try and open up some more new weapons, see if we get any new stuff. So I'll just open up a bunch of weapon crates here. Let's see what we get. Let's take a look at this first one. Where have we got? Worn. So I'm pretty sure this means that it's not changed at all, right? Let's just double check. Worn. Default no benefits. Yeah, there you go. It has a pretty low % chance to get one of the modifiers at all, so that's unfortunate. It doesn't say on here though, which is a shame. I'm going to have to check all of the actual individual codes to find out what we've got. We did, however, get ourselves our knowledge passive there. That's the new one, so that's cool. It's another worn weapon. There we go. An extra 8.6%. And this is for uncommon knowledge, you can tell because of the U and the little blue outline. So that's a pretty bad one. But there you go, 8.6%. Okay, actually, on the next one I check, I've got this great sword here with Wear of Fine. So this is 5% chance, and it adds a quality of 3% on. So that's cool. It isn't really obvious that it's doing that, though, which is kind of weird, in the sense that it says the wear is fine, but at the end of the day, it says quality is 63%, and it says this stuff here. So, in theory, when I re-roll it, this stat will go down. But if I re-roll stat, the stats will all change anyway. And of course, if I re-roll passive, this will change anyway. So the only way you'd be able to tell is by re-rolling passive and then seeing that these two go down, and which I guess would be impossible before this update. But there we go, we got fine there. So these stats are slightly higher than they should be. Of course, they could have randomly re-rolled to the stats that they currently are anyway, but yeah, I guess the point is the chances are slightly higher that this one is a good quality because it has that Wear of Fine. Ah, we got one. This one's just as sneaky, in fact potentially even more sneaky as the Wear. It just puts it in here. You can see it says kills 0. Spirit Staff isn't the best one for this because of course you're not going to be getting many kills with a Spirit Staff. But let's see what people have got. Do we know what code this is? Let's see. Just out of interest, I'm going to check Spirit Staff. 112. Okay, so I've put in top. We have W and then 112, which is the code that we just found here. And of course, I have 0, but it is showing up. We do have one there. Look at that. That's wonderful, isn't it? And we've got the kill trackers. Top is 320 at the moment, which is quite funny. We love that. Love to see it. If you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, this is what I would recommend, by the way. Get yourself a weapon tracker and start doing battles. Because as you can see, the leaderboards are not very high right now. And getting 300 kills with a Spirit Staff is not going to be that hard. If you just get a Spirit Staff with a tracker. Look, this one's only 80% as well. You can get top 5 here. They're only 50%. You just need to do a bunch of battles. That's basically the point. But like, get yourself a good weapon and start grinding. Of course, if we have a look at the whole leaderboard, it's going to be much higher, I reckon, because probably people are. Yeah, there we go. Foul Fish, actually, the new weapon. That's kind of cool. But see, it's a low percentage. People don't need to care about the percentage in order to get the kills on it. You just need to play a lot of battles. But note that this update's only been out for a day. I guess almost 2 days, to be fair. But there's already 5,000 kills with the Foul Fish. Of course, if it's your main attacking weapon, you can assume it gets 3 kills per battle. But that's well over 1,000 battles done in the last 2 days, which, to be fair, is not that uncommon. There are plenty of people that do stuff with weapons and do that many battles. But the point is, if you want to be up on a leaderboard, pick a weapon, potentially one that doesn't normally get used or doesn't normally get a lot of kills. Get it with a weapon tracker and just start doing stuff. Of course, you can re-roll it. We talked about this wear stuff, but you can re-roll your weapons. Still, it doesn't actually affect it. It's just a bit of a lower quality if you get one with a nice wear. But the point is, if you get a good weapon tracker, you can get up on one of these leaderboards very quickly and keep at it, keep grinding. Try and stay up there because, of course, when you look at some of the other leaderboards, you think, well, I couldn't possibly ever catch up to these guys. They've been playing for years. Well, these leaderboards have only been out for a day and a half, so get going, get to the top, see what you can do. Pretty cool. Look, I'm 593rd with 0 kills on the tracking weapon. So, pretty doable, I think. Pretty doable. Anyway, that being said, this video has been kind of long now. There's a lot of stuff in this new update, and I love the fact that there's a new leaderboard. I certainly will be trying to find a weapon with a tracker at some point, spending all of my 0 weapon shards on it. I'll show you they have 6,500. Oh, let's go. I'll get myself a good weapon with a tracker on it. Try and get myself up one of these leaderboards. Sounds good. Anyway, I'll be leaving this video here. Bye!